Here's another thing I feel like talking about, and it's kind of interesting. So, there's like, there's always been issues with this topic, and I don't know really why there is an issue. Because it's always existed throughout history, and it's been studied, and it's always been the same result. So, if anyone unaware of what I'm talking about LGBT plus, and also children. So, pretty much in the same line. And people's reaction to it is just so dystopian and disconnected from the actual reality of it. Because, believe it or not, you can have like, different sexuality at a very young age. One that's not necessarily heterosexual. And there's also a possibility of gender not being that way either. The reason LGBTQ plus isn't a 18 plus topic is because of an inconsistency. Because you have to concede that basically cis hetero people are the same, and children for that matter. But what's ironic is, given that there's already sex education for children that are under 10, like, why does it even fucking matter either? Like, hello? If you're teaching children that young about a topic that's very much 18 plus, which I don't think it is anymore, by the way, spoiler alert, then like, why are you going after LGBTQ plus people of all things? Why? It makes zero sense. You know, until someone can actually respond to that reasonably, I'm convinced that the people taking up this position, that essentially a minority like LGBTQ plus being 18 plus, until someone can prove that it's wrong to teach this to children or even encourage it, I'm not convinced. Like, you need to say that where there's a difference, like name the actual traits that are different between the two. Like, what makes an attraction to, say, the same gender any different, or lack thereof? What makes, like, being a different gender any different? Well, these are the genuine questions I have. Because a lot of the times when you dig right down into this and essentially look for the kind of answer in this, there's always just from bigotry, and it's not actually from any understanding. And one of the things I ask people who disagree with LGBTQ plus being taught to children is, tell me what you've done to research this. Not specifically this topic, but LGBTQ plus in general. Because I guarantee you most people don't even know what it means, especially those criticising it. And also, just as I do, naturally, I dismantle the masks. But I guarantee you, there's a lot of cases of people believing what their parents say are right. And there's usually like beliefs like, oh, black people are bad, or something like gay people are bad, or maybe there's even like an anecdote like X sort of person like raped me or something. Like, there's all sorts of different things that contribute to this. The problem is, using this as evidence as to why something is bad is not evidence. That's just hearsay. And hearsay isn't always rooted in truth. It's often rooted in rumour or just complete disinformation. Or misinformation for that matter. And I don't think I've ever heard a rational argument against LGBT+. Like, the only thing I've had thoughts about, where I sort of have doubts, is like where you draw the line on, for example, dating someone who's fully transitioned. Sort of talking about adult stuff now. For someone who's fully transitioned, like say male to female, where do you draw the line at whether you can date them or not? And people are guilty of doing what I call black and white thinking, and actually that's already a thing anyway. I don't know why I'm calling it that. Yeah, black and white thinking, and often like a one-size-fits-all thing as well, like they assume, but that's not the case. It's like way more simpler than that. It's down to the person really. Like there are genuinely cisgender and heterosexual people who will date a trans woman, like a man dating a trans woman, or even the opposite, like a cis woman dating a trans man. And it's all on a spectrum itself, and it doesn't mean you're LGBTQ plus for dating someone that's trans. But it again is on a spectrum, and really that's how I sort of think of it. And it's not, in my opinion anyway, it's not transphobic to deny dating someone because they are trans. That's just like a preference thing. But I think as long as you can like them as a person, it's not really transphobic. Or like them as a person but don't discriminate. That's really the important thing here. And yeah, that's something that I've thought about for years and was actually something transphobic I used to believe. Not realising it was black and white thinking, and in fact everything's on a spectrum to an extent. And it's the same here. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, and it also means that trans people are the gender they've transitioned to. The trans woman is a woman, trans man is a man. Even just masc and femme, it's like so simple, and it's easier to accept these truths than it is to debate them. That's something I realised after I was sort of thoroughly debunking myself and doing research on this. But sort of back to the topic of kids and stuff, it's like there's no difference. And the other thing I have to point out is because something is unusual or uncommon, that doesn't mean it's wrong. Like holy fucking shit, it's literally the same as anything else that's unusual or uncommon. It's not really up for debate, and the only things that should be are those that literally morally breach a line. And there are definitely people in the minority who, for example, murder people. Of course they're wrong, we know it's wrong because it harms people. With LGBTQ+, there's no demonstrable proof that they are harming people. I should say we are, because I'm pansexual myself, but I'm not really that biased in that sense. Obviously I'll just follow what's true, and that's that really. So it's never made sense when people call it 18 plus, it's not. And companies like that, like corporations, no such thing. And I've even seen it now with like payment processes, which is another topic, where they're trying to stop allowing people to pay for LGBTQ plus related games and content. And that's always going to be a slippery slope, but you'll always lose in court. Simple as that. I think it's just very fucking stupid. Hopefully they do get sued for that, because they deserve it. But they also deserve it on the front of moral atrocities, which this is. Just stopping shit like this is just nonsense. So yeah. And people also point out that with LGBTQ plus it's inherently about sexuality, which is not. Like nowhere it states that. It's called sexuality, but it doesn't mean it entails like not suitable for work content, or even topics. It's all very different, and again, it's a spectrum. You know, there are people in history, famous people for that matter, I think, could be mistaken. I think like Freddie Mercury was like deeply in love with, I think, men's bodies and only romantic towards women. Um, I don't know if that's correct or not. That's what I've remembered. But again, it's a spectrum. So again, calling this all 18 plus makes no sense. And yeah, like, there's kink in the community, that's undeniable. But that's going to happen the same way it does in sex education towards children. Um, so it just makes no sense. So it's not inherently sexual, the same way that heterosexuality has sexuality in the name, can lead to sex, but it doesn't mean it is 18 plus or sexual for that matter. And I think we need to stop using the label 18 plus at this point, because it literally doesn't matter. You know, if children are being taught this again, like sex education, I don't think anything's really in the realm of 18 plus anymore. There's no such thing. There's very few things I consider not suitable for life content, probably. It's up there. Although I consider that 25 plus because it's fucking traumatizing. Um, yeah, there's not really many topics that sort of fall under that category anymore. Especially when people are going to lie about their age, and not to mention kids who are LGBTQ plus. They're going to find ways to find community, and especially nowadays with the newer generations, they're going to find ways to get into a community. That even if it means going into something that's more suitable for work. Uh, that's unavoidable, and it's the same with like kids who want to be part of a similar community but on the more majority side. There's no doubt like dating apps for kids. I don't think that's impossible at this point, even though this question is like genuinity. I don't know what the term is, but something like that. Obviously, it has to be safe and verified and stuff, and moderated. But yeah, like there's going to be ways around it essentially. So yeah, I think I've said all I can about this topic. It gets tiring after a while, especially because it's so obvious as well. If anyone had even put a little bit of thought into it, they would see that there's logically no difference between LGBTQ plus and heterosexuality. The same way we realised in, like, for example, people of colour, there's pretty much no difference between us. We're still human at the end of the day. Still have our preferences and desires. It literally means nothing, but people make a big deal out of nothing essentially. And they make a big deal out of fuck. I don't know why I forgot that. It's probably because I've got ADHD and I just got distracted. Um, things get blown out of proportion as well. It's not a big deal that someone is black or white, for example. But people who make it out that there is are also going to be the people at fault, making stupid and dangerous claims. So that's also acting dangerously. These people are as much as a threat to life than any minority out there currently that's struggling. So that's something to really think on. That's all I've got to say. Yeah, thanks for listening, and see everyone another time.